Now, I'll quickly move on to my final session for today. And I apologize to my panelists for having made them wait. Our next session is on brand partnering, brand partner or vendor to the business, how to choose and develop a healthy relationship with your product partner for your salon success. And for this panel, I have with me Yasesh Bharwada, Director at Absolute Beauty Concepts Private Limited. Hi Yasesh, can we please have you on stage? Yasesh helps brands like Milkshake in India, and prior to this, he was the business director at Nitec International, Dermalogica India. Hi Yasesh, thank you so much for joining us today. My next speaker is Ms. Sneha Kotecha. Sneha Kotecha Contractor is the director at JCB Salons and Spa India. She has been instrumental in setting up, scaling up, and promoting the company in India. In her 8-year-long tenure, she has added significant verticals like home services and Trika Hair Clinic to JCB Salons, bridging the gap between care and cure. Welcome, Sneha. Thank you so much for joining us today. My next panelist is Drishti Ramchandani. She has been dedicated to the service industry for the past 15 years, currently serving as the director of Solasta Salon. Throughout her career, her unwavering aim has been to build a brand that places paramount importance on both the customers and employees. She firmly believes that a customer-centric and employee-centric approach is pivotal in creating a thriving and sustainable business in the beauty industry. And my final panelist for today is Ms. Vaijayanti Bhalchandra. She is a serial entrepreneur and pioneer in the beauty and salon industry, instrumental in transforming the Indian salon industry with many firsts delivered, such as institutional VC and PE funding, organized operations, upfront commitment to upgrading vocational skill education, upgrading India's waxing experience, creating new international looks every day, and starting India's first organized home services. She's the co-founder of the Bangalore-based YLG Salons. A big round of applause to Vaijayanti and the rest of the panels. Thank you so much for joining us today, and my apologies again for having made you wait. Now, our topic for today is very interesting because यहीं पे सारा घमासान युद्ध होता है वेंडर्स और सैलॉन्स के बीच में, एंड आई एम श्योर जो इतना क्राउड एंड तक बैठा है वो यही सुनने के लिए बैठा है कि कैसे इस how to deal with this bone of contention. I would request you to speak in Hindi as much as possible. My first question, let's start with Yasesh. So, we all know that a relationship with the brand or through the vendor is very important. As a vendor yourself, how do you think this relationship should, like, what's the ideal working of a relationship between a salon and a brand?
So, I don't call myself as vendor to them at all because we work as brand partners to them. And I think over a period of time, it's become more of partnership than just one-way signal, I guess, right? So, it's important to have relationship from both the ends and maintaining and making sure that, we've sustained together, we work for a long time, and we do not overcome it. So I think that's the best funda, I guess, to ensure that we work long term with all the salon partners as well.
Yeah, but what do you expect from them?
So I'm sure there's a lot of competition around and a lot of brands coming in. And it's just not about, of course, say profitability is important for everybody. But just because probably X brand or anybody comes in and they give you more margins, but I think it's all about longevity in terms of what they can offer, how long they can be there in the system, and then work with them through and through.
Yeah, thanks for that diplomatic answer. You're not giving us any masala. Vaijayanti, I'm coming to you. What is it that you need from brand partners or vendors?
So, a very tricky question, as you said. So, to talk about it, not all vendors or brand partners can be classified under the same umbrella, right? So, you have certain brand partners who are multinational big companies who you have a more long-term and a deeper relationship with. where you try and grow the business together in a particular way. Then the second one that I would like to talk about is a kind of supplier or brand partner who has uh, not a great, very big presence in the market that you are in, but they have a very nicely put together basket of offerings of products which they think is very suitable for your market, or your customers would love that product, right? Then the third would be importer who would be bringing in certain amazing brands, curating a collection and bringing those kind of brands together to be able to present to the market where they think that the customers will like it. And the fourth one, and a very interesting one, is the one which is a formulation and a manufacturer kind of a supplier who builds a private label for you, right?
Yeah.
So the strategy that you are going to adopt when you're looking at a brand partner would depend on what category the brand partner is in, right? Suppose, like in our case, we work with a big international hair brand, and they have been partnering with us in building academies. Also, they have a big range of products which they keep launching, having new launches and all that. And the brand has certain power to be able to draw in customers. But then, in such cases, what happens is that the margins that you get might not be that high, right?
Yeah. Now we are talking. Yes.
So many countries in Asia and even in the developed world, 50-55% margin is accepted thing. I mean, you don't even have to ask for it. It's not a favor. It's how the market is.
Yeah.
But here, what you can see, I think everybody knows the kind of margins we get in India, right? So that might be something, right? Yeah, so I think I'll put that ball in there and wait for my chance for the next one.
Drishti, what would you like to say?
Sorry, Vaijayanti, we are nearing there at 50-55% very soon. We are nearing there right now.
See, when we talk about a brand relationship, I think it's more about building trust.
Can you hold the mic closer to your closer? Yeah.
I'm saying when we talk about building a relationship with a brand, it's more about building trust. See, nowadays, when we see there are many options are available for the consumer in the market from where they can choose from product and services. Even I see many times even salon owners face challenges when, at the time of a selection of products. And when you align with any brand, it is more about, it reflects your values, your identity of your salon. It is not only to complete your client needs. So when you align with the brand, you are giving a message to your clients that these are the products you can rely on. And if you keep changing the products and brands very frequent, it is very difficult, client to trust that salon and brand. And the other way, I would say, if you keep consistent with the brands, then it will really help you to create strong followers, which will increase your repeat clients as well as your referrals. So, in short, brand relationship is not about just stocking the shelves. It is more about creating a complete salon experience with the sense of trust, loyalty, building relationships, and which will ultimately a long-term salon success.
Right. So आप ये कहना चाह रहे हो कि अगर ब्रांड सलोन सेम ब्रांड्स ही रखते हैं अपने सलोन में तो कस्टमर्स का उनमें फेथ बढ़ जाता है और
Very
इसीलिए
true,
ये
बढ़ता है।
जरूरी है कि वो वेंडर्स के साथ में एक
Relationship
प्रॉपर
तभी बनता है जैसे कि Mr. Yash, he said that when a brand owner will expect a salon, the first thing comes is what? A consistency.
Yeah.
Even every brand, whoever built any product, they look for the salon owners. Salons are extended hands for them in the market.
Yeah.
They make the outstanding products and we are there to represent them. So consistency is the key. If we will not be able to consistent, तो for an example, हमारे salon में client आया, so we suggest the home care along with the services, and your client is like, "Ma'am, sir, ये बहुत अच्छा product है, it will solve your concerns." And after a month or two, you have introduced another brand. Now
Yeah.
पहले वो अच्छा था, अभी ये वाला अच्छा है. So this is where even client get confused. So
Right.
I think consistency is the key, and it is kind of a win-win situation for both of the salon owner as well as for the brands also.
Right. Coming to you, Sneh, what would you like to add?
So I think I would like to put a different perspective.
Yes.
Ki, what is my responsibility to my client, right? My responsibility is great quality of product. So जब भी product, suppose we have some options of products, हम test करते हैं, we try it, back end, we see, and we try the product for a while. Then we realize, okay, what kind of skin it's suiting, what kind of hair it's suiting, does it really work, doesn't work, to what degree does it fit in with our salon and our services. That's when we choose our product line. So it is, a lot goes into, बहुत मेहनत लगती है to choose ये product या वो product. तो एक बारी जब हम वो introduce करते हैं, फिर हमारा ये responsibility है कि we should then also give them growth, right? आज ये technology है, globally क्या improvement आई है technology में. So then the brand partners and the vendor partners, उनकी responsibility ये बनती है कि they are with the global markets. What are the new trends? क्योंकि if they are not keeping up with it, then I will fall short and I have to look at a different brand partner. So to be very clear, I think what every salon partner wants to do is just to keep up with client expectations. Or another part I think that ma'am has already touched upon is training.
Yeah.
कि वो training जो consistency होती है training में, to give new experiences in training. क्या level तक आप salon में क्या level तक, can it be growth in somebody's knowledge? You know, growth in the way somebody treats a customer. How do they understand why it's better for your customer than what you're using today? ये पूरी training अगर आती है, then there's confidence on floor also.
Yeah.
And there's confidence for us also, and the client also gets confidence. So I think consistently as a partnership, अगर हमको एक particular level से हमको we want to stay forever, then this is the way to go. And I think on the other hand, हमारी ये responsibility है कि हम भी grow करें. तो आज अगर हम एक पर्टिकुलर पोजीशन पे है कि हम इतना बेचते हैं, तो हमारी भी ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टुवर्ड्स द वेंडर पार्टनर दैट वी ग्रो इन नंबर्स, बिकॉज देन दे शुड फाइंड इट रीजनेबल कि वो हम में भी इन्वेस्ट करें. सो आई थिंक फॉर अ सिम्बायोटिक रिलेशनशिप कि वो हम साथ साथ में कैसे ग्रो करें, आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स नीड टू फॉल इन प्लेस.
Yes, those are some very valid points that you raise. And Yasesh, I want your reaction to that. Do you think upgradation of technology, like she mentioned, and training are the two hooks that can keep the salons with you?
Yeah, of course. I think that's the key. I mean, education is something which you cannot fall over.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that we keep on upgrading the skills, and it's just, again, training is just not about going and doing the product training. It's also about skills. It's about consultation. It's about a lot of things which undergoes in terms of the training is concerned, right? Product will do whatever it has to do. But how you sell it, again, your services, one is the service part, one is the retailing part. So I think both the things has to be touched upon with the hairstylist or the technicians whatsoever. So that's more important, yes. And upgradation in terms of different things as a brand portfolio, like how Sneh said, that we need to have something in our portfolio where we can offer different things so that they don't go out and look out for something else. So having a bigger range, wider range, or understanding what as a brand partner we have to keep up to what the clients are requiring and how the business goes further. So I think as a longer partnership, yes, we have to do these two things, which is very important.
Right. What do you think is the key concern or problems when it comes to Indian salons and brand partners having a healthy relationship?
I think it's a team overall, to be very frank, right? I mean, we don't get the right people. Of course, we have relations ourselves, but very frankly, we are not on the floor. And it's a team, my team or probably their team are on the floor and they are managing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of miscommunication or probably not having right team at the right spot can also again, create that kind of a gap between us. And that's where you lose a lot of business.
Do you agree, Vaijayanti? Is this the major challenge?
Yes, this is definitely one of the major challenges. Another one can also be the mismatch in supplies.
Sorry, in?
Mismatch in supplies.
Okay.
कि हमने अगर सोचो कि प्लान किया है सीजन के लिए कि ये हम रन करने वाले हैं प्रमोशन या कुछ कर रहे हैं, और उसमें जो प्रोडक्ट लगते हैं वो अगर शॉर्ट सप्लाई हो जाए, है ना, टाइम पे कुछ तो बड़ा सेल का इवेंट चल रहा है या प्रमोशन चल रहा है, कुछ चल रहा है, सीजन है, और सडनली यू आर नॉट गेटिंग सम ऑफ द मेन प्रोडक्ट्स व्हिच यू वांट फॉर द सर्विस. So that is one of the biggest factors which hurts the salon directly. क्योंकि at times the team is left floundering कि क्या अभी सडनली रिप्लेस करना है तो क्या करना है, कैसे कोप करेंगे, यार ये प्रमोशन बंद करें क्या फिर, so it creates unnecessary stress on the part of the salon partner at that point of time. दूसरा ये है कि अब जैसे हमारे केस में वी टिपिकली लुक कि हम लोग लॉन्ग टर्म रिलेशनशिप्स कैसे रिस्टैब्लिश करें. Most of the partners who have been with us since 2008 when we have started, right? And obviously, I think some things have been done right on both sides. As a salon partner by us and as brand partners by them, so that this relationship chala hai itna lambe. So I think a few of this जो आगे पीछे होते रहता है between the learning, as he said, the kind of areas many times जब salon owner को लगता है कि नहीं इस एरिया में मुझे ज़्यादा इनपुट चाहिए है, तो वो अगर टाइम से आ जाए, if छोटा मोटा up and down rounds of demand and supply are taken care of, I think these are some of the issues to add to what Yashish said earlier.
Drishti, what are the major challenges you think?
See, challenges also, as she mentioned, running out of stock. So that's the one of the challenge which we get. Because if you overstock, it's like you block your capital. If you out of stock, it's basically lead to a client dissatisfaction. Apart from that, I in fact feel there has to be extended support from the brand owner to the salons, as far as it concerns to the a data-driven kind of a thing has to be there, because they have access to a lot of data as far as product performance is concerned. So they know which of the areas has which product sells well in the market, how the demand fluctuates seasonally. So that way we expect brand owners to extend their supports to the salon, so that even they know what to order, what quantity to be ordered at that time.
Right. What are the challenges that you think are in the way of a healthy relationship?
I think as they're right, supply is one end. I think we also need to understand seasonality. And I think third is two things that I would like to point out. One is dilution of their own brand.
Okay.
So if you are really going to dilute your own product by overselling it, discounting it at places that will cut corners in selling that particular service or product. What happens is when some of us want to keep up the quality and somebody else is cutting corners, and either उसका result वो कहीं और कहीं बिगड़ गया है, market में reputation खराब हो जाती है उस brand की, तो फिर we are also in trouble. As much as we would like to sell it, वो एक perception जो change हो जाता है, ये मतलब it's a difficult one to deal with. And second is, I think when vendor partners have to realize that जब हम salon में brand उनकी बेचते हैं या when we endorse it, we're also building the brand alongside them. So we are investing a lot of time, energy in building somebody else's brand. So we need help, we need support. कि आप marketing में आप अपने brand को आगे करने के लिए what are you doing? How are you setting it apart from others? Because if they don't build brand alongside us, we can only push to a certain level. वो एक demand pull भी तो आना चाहिए. Customer आके customer should come and ask for it. ये मांगना तो चाहिए कि आपके पास ये ब्रांड है, अच्छा हाँ मैंने सुना है या कुछ. पुश हम कब तक करेंगे? बिकॉज सी वाइल वी आर पुशिंग आपका ब्रांड, हम दूसरे 3 चीज़ पुश कर रहे हैं कि भले वो सर्विस रिलेटेड हो, कि हम इस सर्विस के साथ इस सर्विस पुश करना है या कुछ. तो जब हम पुश करते तो हम उतना ही सेल कर पाते हैं, राइट? लेकिन एक पुल जो आपको क्रिएट करना है वो वेंडर पार्टनर्स को क्रिएट करना पड़ता है.
बिल्कुल. और ई-कॉमर्स किस हद तक हिंड्रेंस है जब वेंडर्स ई-कॉमर्स पर अपने प्रोडक्ट्स डाल देते हैं?
देखिए, ई-कॉमर्स इज अ नोन डेविल. ठीक है, आई डोंट थिंक आई कैन टेल एनीबडी कि आप ऑनलाइन मत डालो प्रोडक्ट, राइट? आई हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड नो कि वो तो होगा, क्योंकि ग्रोथ इज ऑब्वियस. आई मीन आई कांट स्टॉप देम फ्रॉम ग्रोइंग, दे कांट स्टॉप मी फ्रॉम ग्रोइंग, दैट्स अनदर थिंग. सो बट देन जो एक्सपीरियंस हम दे सकते हैं, see, we are an experience center for them.
Yeah.
So when we get that importance and we get that support and we can do it better, तो वो experience जो हम दे सकते हैं as salons, वो e-commerce नहीं दे पाएगा. जो pull हम create कर सकते हैं उनके product के लिए, वो e-commerce नहीं दे पाएगा. तो it is also challenge हम पे कि हम every time the client comes in, how do we explain that, okay, you've used this particular, but what is the next stage? What is the next step for them? आज अगर if I am using a particular problem solving issue, suppose for skin and I have acne, I have solved the problem, but what's next? Is it anti-aging next or it is brightening next? My knowledge as a customer might be very limited कि मैं online जाके कितना ही research कर लूँ, but जब एक technical जो मेरी skin को touch कर रहे हैं, जिन्होंने मेरी एक problem already solve कर दी है, वो trust factor जो हम बना सकते हैं वो online नहीं बन सकते.
बिल्कुल. Yasesh, what is your strategy when it comes to e-commerce?
E-commerce, yes. So I think unless until we are not discounting, so like how we do it. So we are available with different portals, but we do not ask them to discount it. So that's in our agreement that they cannot discount it apart from Black Friday or a Black Sale or whatever if they have. I think that is more key. And the more issues over here is the salon, if they're selling something, they should not get something which is cheaper online. And that is where they lose out on sales. So I understand where they come from, where they are doing all the manner and then they are going just online and booking or they are just buying online. So I think that's where all the vendor partners or the brands ourselves should understand that we do not discount our brand, which is the key, right? So, and plus I think e-commerce we do because we cannot reach out to each city. We've got, India is huge, so we have to we have to, of course, make that we are available in T2, T3 cities as well. And I think it's just more market awareness for us as well, where we do a lot of activities online apart from what we do with salons too. So I guess it's a win-win situation for both. If we make sure that we strategize it correct, and whatever deals we are offering to online, it should be available with salons too. So that's the key.
So there should be uniformity.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm sure they will just throw us out as like we are doing all the manner you said. Of course, the experience is different in the salon, and it's very indifferent with when you buy it online. But I think they do all the manner, and we don't want them to lose out on business.
I totally get where you're coming from. I have done this where the staff is convincing me to buy a product after doing a service, and my first thought is I should Google it and see how much it costs me online. Even if it is like ₹100 difference, I would prefer ordering it online.
Now I guess everybody does that. So after the service, when they are pushing the retail to them, everybody goes online and check, oh, इसमें ₹100 कम है, इसमें ₹200 कम है, so I'll buy it online. And unfortunately, what happens is we do not ask them to give discounts, but as a cart value, sometimes if they're buying 2 or 3 products together, they do get a discount of $100 or $200, right?
Yes.
So that's something which we cannot really do anything about. But ensuring that you don't see 50%, 30%, 20% discount. And if the brands are doing that, they're doing it really wrong.
Right. Vaijayanti, I'm coming back to you. A lot of the audience members here, आज बहुत सारे members of the audience जो हैं वो standalone salons हैं या aspiring to open a new salon या aspiring to open a second salon. So ऐसे में vendor partners के साथ में किस तरह का negotiation होना चाहिए? क्या आप कुछ do's and don'ts बता सकते हैं?
जी, तो इस strategy के लिए सबसे पहले तो जो हमने बोला है कि लॉन्ग टर्म सोचना है, ये देखना है कि कौन सा वेंडर पार्टनर मुझे आगे साथ हाथ पकड़ के ले जा सकता है ग्रो करने के लिए, राइट? आज की डील में नहीं पड़ना है, फॉर एक्सपेंशन अगर करना है तो लुक एट अ ब्रांड पार्टनर जो आपको आगे प्रोग्रेस दे सके, जो आपके लिए कस्टमर अंदर ला सके, राइट? एक तो यूएसपी उनका ये है कि वो मार्केटिंग अच्छे से कर रहे हैं, या तो ब्रांड वेल नोन है, राइट? Because you need some extra help when you are trying to expand from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 like that, correct? तो वो एक पर्सपेक्टिव है. अनदर ये है कि अच्छा डील नेगोशिएट कीजिए फॉर मार्केटिंग कॉस्ट, ठीक है ना? क्योंकि जो एक्स्ट्रा मिलता है फॉर मार्केटिंग, जो मार्केटिंग का उनका राइटअप होता है, या कुछ लोग जैसे ट्रॉलीज देते हैं या कुछ ऐसे डिस्प्लेज देते हैं, तो ट्राई एंड गेट अ गुड डील उसके लिए, क्योंकि उससे काफ़ी फ़र्क पड़ता है कि आप कस्टमर को वो प्रोडक्ट कैसे प्रोजेक्ट कर पाएंगे, राइट? अनदर थिंग ऑल्सो इज़ कि try and get a written contract, right? सिर्फ वर्बल पे मत जाइए, रिटर्न में लेना चाहिए जो कमिटमेंट दिया गया है आपको, राइट? Cool.
Thank you. Drishti, what would you like to add? What is your checklist?
See, being a startup, Solasta is just 2 years old, baby.
Yeah.
So what we have done initially, there are multiple factors. I think when you know that you want to open one salon, then two, and you have a vision to open a chain of salons, then you really have to think what is your target audience. Then you have to decide that there has to be no compromise in the quality of a product, because it directly impacts your salon reputation in that, and high quality is very important, I feel. Apart from that, a brand which will give you a good marketing support. There has to be some brands, you have to really survey your market. What are the near salons, which brands they are using, because they have already built a market for that brands.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of that brands you have to select accordingly. And yes, being a startup, what I always use, startup need more support than the already built up brands, which I used with Yashish also.
Great. Sneh, what's your checklist?
चेकलिस्ट जैसा तो ज़्यादा है नहीं. आई थिंक लाइक आई सेड ऑलरेडी, आई थिंक वी ऑलरेडी एस्टैब्लिश की क्वालिटी होनी चाहिए, मार्केटिंग होनी चाहिए. सो ऐसा एक ब्रांड लो जिनका ऑडियंस आपका ऑडियंस है, जो आपको कंटिन्यू सपोर्ट दे सके. क्योंकि जब हम स्टार्ट करते हैं नई सैलून, आज हमारा भी अगर नया सैलून हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं तो या नई सर्विस हम लॉन्च कर रहे हैं, तो कंटिन्यूस बेसिस पे वो टीथिंग प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं फ्लोर पे. ये इशू हो गया, वो इशू हो गया, या हेयर स्टाइलिस्ट को कंसर्न है, या क्वेश्चंस हैं, या स्किन में अगर वो क्वेश्चंस है, कंसर्न्स हैं, तो ये जो कंटिन्यूस बेसिस पे आपको सपोर्ट लगेगा ना, आई थिंक दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट व्हेन यू आर स्टार्टिंग. सो इवन टुडे जब हम नई सर्विस लॉन्च करते हैं या नया सैलून स्टार्ट करते हैं, तो ये सारा सपोर्ट हमको कंटिन्यूस बेसिस पे थोड़े टाइम तक लगता है, और फिर थिंग्स स्टार्ट स्मूथनिंग आउट एंड रनिंग एज दे डू.
Right. So this is like an ongoing process.
Yes.
अगर आप established salon भी हो, new services start कर रहे हो, तो आपको वो vendor के साथ maintain करना ही पड़ता है.
डेफिनेटली आई थिंक हर एक नई जो सर्विस आती है या नया प्रोडक्ट आता है, उसका आपको रिटर्न कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेना ही लेना है. एंड देन यू ऐड टू दैट कि हम कैसे उसको रन करते हैं, क्योंकि फर्स्ट 3 months to 6 months तो द प्रोडक्ट एंड सर्विस ऑल्सो गोज थ्रू द टेस्ट, द सैलून ऑल्सो गोज थ्रू द टेस्ट, हाउ द मार्केट इज रिएक्टिंग. तो काफ़ी चेंजेस आते हैं, तो वो ऑन गोइंग बेसिस पे जो चेंज हमको कंटिन्यूस बेसिस पे करने पड़ते हैं इनिशियल फेज में, उसका सपोर्ट डेफिनेटली लगता है.
Right. Yashish, do you have a list of do's and don'ts while dealing with salons?
Yeah, I think we have to select in terms of what kind of salons we want to work with. As a brand, you decide whether you want to be in the mass segment, mid mass, or very niche. So we've always been in the niche segment, so we understand, okay, these are the salons. So again, we do a lot of background checks in terms of which salon, what are they doing, how good they are. It's just not about fancy looking salon, but again, understanding what kind of services and what level of salon they are really, because when we give our products to them, we again want to make sure that it's a success, right? So a salon can break or make the brand for us as well. So we are very selective, like how they are also selective in terms of which brand they need to take and why they need to take. For us, is the same thing, that which salon we want to enter, and why do we want to, and then of course make sure that we have the right people to work for us or to present the brand, which is very important.
Do you have any such ground rule that you will not work with salons that have other brands present, something like that?
No, I think unfortunately we're not L'Oreal or Kérastase that we can demand to them. But of course we always tell them that we don't want a competing brand. So we try our best in terms of whatever best we can do as a different support, or making sure that the trainings are there and all the kind of support that you have to give. But of course, yeah, I mean, we're not into that demanding position at all, right?
And have you ever blacklisted a
Not
salon?
yet.
Have you ever blacklisted a salon?
Yes, we have blacklisted, and I think purely because they don't use the products correctly, or they have filled in something else in our bottle, which we do our audits. And third, where we've seen that they are wholesaling or anything as such. And the fourth, the biggest thing is the money. If you don't get the money in time, then we wait for 1, 2, thrice. But if they don't respect us as relations, then we just blacklist and we don't give them the products.
Vaijayanti mentioned 50 to 55% volume margin in the global market. Do you have any such ballpark figure when it comes to margins?
I think that's an ongoing saga, I guess, with the margins, with negotiating with them. But I think with chains, because we expect a bulk of business, so that's where they come from.
Yeah.
But as an individual salon, I think it's more about schemes. It's all about making sure that they get more benefits. So there are fixed margins that we set up for individual salons, and depending on what business they do, we then of course help them, support them with different ways, and with whether it's products, trainings, trips that a lot of brands do. So so they are rewarded with different ways. But then with chains, it's more flat out discount, because we know that this is the X business that we're going to get from them. And also as a brand, so as a new brand, whoever comes in, they of course wants to work with YLG and Sulasta and JCB. So because they are all established salons, and we know that okay, we get a name there. So as a brand, even if I don't earn with them, I earn with somebody else. So that's where the brand thinks that they balance it. But I guess brand actually gets carried away and they give too much out, and they are out of business in 1 or 2 years' time. And that is what we have to make sure that we sustain our business, to ensure that we are there long term with them, and have business for both of us.
Right. Thank you so much. I now leave the floor open for questions. Audience के कोई सवाल हैं regarding vendor के साथ कैसे deal करना है, किस तरह के contracts रखने हैं, margins को लेकर? The panel is in a mood to answer all questions now, so please go ahead. Yes, any questions? Arpita? No? All right. So with that, we would wind up this session. Thank you so much. You have been a lovely panel and taken my questions in good spot, especially Yasesh. Thank you. All right, folks, that was it for day 1 of the Salon Management Congress 2023 Mumbai edition. आप लोगों के मन में एज सैलून ओनर सबसे बड़ा सवाल होता है कि स्टाफ कहाँ से हायर करें, और इस अर्जेंट क्वेश्चन का बहुत ही सिंपल आंसर कल सुबह मिलने वाला है. तो फर्स्ट सेशन मिस मत करिए. कल 10:30 बजे हम शुरू करेंगे. सो प्लीज़ बी देयर एंड आई विल सी यू टुमारो. हैव अ गुड इवनिंग अहेड. थैंक यू सो मच. यू हैव बीन अ लवली ऑडियंस. कैन वी प्लीज हैव अ राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज फॉर द ऑडियंस? Fantastic audience. Thank you.